Welcome back, everybody. This is Nick Dodge, host of the Darker Side podcast. For the next few weeks, we are doing music reviews, but for local bands instead of the mainstream acts, which I've been excited about for a while now. So here's another release by another local band called Allout Helter. The album is The Notion of Control. These guys were nice enough to send me a digital copy of their album and offer me a physical. But that doesn't mean I'm going easy on these guys. As much as I appreciate the courtesy of the band, they ain't getting away that easily. First impressions reminds me of a little band called Defeater. But then, right away, the music changed into this thrash metal meets punk rock mixed with some happy hardcore, or at least it made me happy. I was reverting to my old emo self while listening to this record, which seemed real silly at the time. But then I thought about it, and I guess what I mean is that this record sort of put me back into that naive, nonsensical teenage angst. Not sure if that's good or not. Take it how it is. When someone doesn't know how they'll mix three men into one coherent chorus, by the way, it's pretty obvious. I won't mention which song, I'm sure you could pick it out. And yes, I'm aware who and where this was recorded. You can tell almost immediately that this band works off of two different guitarists, and you can hear each one's own unique style throughout the album. It was very cool to listen to. By the third track, the band starts to get technical. Wasn't really expecting that. And I hate to say this, but the drummer has a bad case of playing snare and kicks at 180 beats per minute on most tracks. I get that kind of style goes with the punk-like style that they've infused into their sound, but God, I have heard it so much, so often, by so many other bands. Many times throughout the album, the vocals sound just very energetic, upbeat, and powerful, but at other times, they can be dry and mono. And the dry and mono parts really stick out when everything else is so well sung. Or yelled, or shouted. Bad vocalist jokes. But not everyone can sing like my boy JT after all. I got to track 7 and said to myself, wow, there are so many creative aspects to this band, and then they just play hardcore punk rock again. Trust me when I say I like the sound, but every song would sound like the last if they didn't have these unique independent sections of melody, breakdowns, intermissions, and introversions in their tracks. And holy shit, I want to see these guys play the song Tabula Rasa live so badly after hearing that track. That kick snare at 180, however, is still giving me a migraine. Overall, my favorite tracks are Battered Grounds and Tabula Rasa. This band is extremely talented, both when fit into their genre and as general musicians. I really think that I could follow these guys for years to come. However, the drums grew tiring fast, and I can't blame the drummer necessarily. You can call it personal preference, you can call it the band's preference. I'm just saying I've heard the same damn drumming from 100 other bands that are much less talented than their drummer probably is. And again, the vocals sometimes lose their provocativeness, and even the guitars sometimes blend together. Kind of disappointing when both guitars were so unique in other tracks. I get that guitars had to play off of one another, and had to sometimes play the same general notes as one another, but it seemed like it happened, I don't know. I don't want to say too often, but it definitely watered down the uniqueness that both guitars carried. Mainly, I'm trying to get at my biggest issue, which is direction. The band will take this unique, inspiring, and completely different direction in each song, but will always revert back to the same sound that keeps them grounded. And if that's their intention, then fine, stay grounded. But from what I heard from this short and sweet release, I believe they could go further than that. Good job, and remember, you asked for this.